So welcome to this talk about the OCA history and benefits. I'm really pleased to be there with you to share this history today with you. I want this talk to be an interactive session, so we have time. Don't hesitate to interrupt or ask questions. You can do that through the chat or directly voice it. I do a small introduction. Despite Maxime already presented me. So I'm currently the president of the OCA and the head of business solution at Camptocamp. I'm living in Switzerland, and I'm a long-time Odoo contributor and community member, as Maxime just told. The purpose of this talk is to dive in the OCA history, its values, and the impact it has on the Odoo ecosystem. I'd like that you understand how to get involved and why it matters, what benefit you can get out of this association. And then we have some room for a question and answer session if we want to dive more in one subject or another. I had two slides for brief context. Might be some of you already know that. So just a few words about Odoo to place the context for some items that I talk further on in this talk. So Odoo was called Tiny ERP and was created in 2005 in Belgium by Fabien Penkers. It has been renamed around 2009 to Open ERP, and then it changed name again at the end of 2014 for Odoo. And when that occurred, the editor switched the business model to an open core business model. So before that switch, OpenERP and TinyERP was released under an open source license. And when Odoo was born, a part of it was relicensed in LGPL version for the community version. And we have a set of enterprise commercial modules under a proprietary license aside of it. Today, Odoo has a worldwide success with tens of millions of users. And I think what makes Odoo unique, it's its business application framework on which every module is actually built. It's way more than an ERP. And this is why additional modules is the heart of the game in the Odoo world. This is why also OCA matters in the way we can build those additional modules. Other information, when Odoo launched the open core model, they also started their own SaaS offer for tackling the smaller SME in this world. So that is a little bit of context for Odoo itself. Now maybe a brief context on open source principle. Might be you are already familiar with those, but I wanted to just quickly highlight them. So open source principle is about collaboration. So really we want to collectively build, maintain, and improve software. It's about being transparent. That means everyone can see, study, audit the code for quality purpose, for security purpose. This contributes to build trust. It's also freedom for users. So users in the open source world have the right to run the software, to modify, and to redistribute the software under an OSI approved license. Most of the open source projects are community-driven innovation through peer reviews, shared ideas, and volunteering contributions that continuously enhance the features of the software. And last but not least, in the open source world, you reduced by nature vendor lock-in. So using open standard and open licensing help the users to not be locked in a vendor area and has the freedom to take over the project or delegate it to another entity. So those two slides just to place a bit the context in which the OCA is living. So what is the OCA? Legally speaking, the OCA is a not-for-profit association that is supporting the open source collaboration around Odoo. It hosts today thousands of modules on GitHub, It's a global community composed of developers, functional consultants, integrators, and end users. And it mainly provides the required infrastructures, the guidelines and coding standards, and a collaborative platform to deliver high-quality open source Odoo features and modules. It is a Swiss association, so it's born and ruled by the Swiss law. And this choice was made because Swiss has a nice regulation regarding not-for-profit association. There's many known one, like the United Nations, the World Commerce Organization, and others that are their siege or main entity in Switzerland. So what was the landscape when this OCA has been born? So for this, I had to go back in time in 2006, when I have personally discovered the tiny ERP world. At this time, there was couples of people in a farm in Belgium crafting this tiny ERP software in an amazing way. And during 4 years, I had the chance to be in contact with contributors from all over the world. And they were all trying to adapt and create new features in this tiny ERP software. What I've seen at this time is that multiple integrators were duplicating efforts on similar modules, trying to solve the very same problem. And we ended up having many modules for the same purpose. Of course, as the module were branded under a company name, Camptocamp's module, Savoir-Faire Linux module, whatever other integrator modules, no one will wanted to contribute to a competitor's work. And so this overall collaboration did not really took off because of that. At the early beginning, I started with a couple other people to organize the contribution in Launchpad. So at the time, we had Launchpad and GitHub, but it's a similar platform, a bit outdated nowadays. And there we try to really aggregate contribution by topic, like everything related to accounting, everything related to connectors, everything related to logistic, and such a kind of classification. So we gather our strengths under this group of people, and that was the start of a collaboration at an international reach. At this time, for the little story, at Camptocamp, we had several other departments, and one of them, Geospatial, was heavily working with an organization called OSGO. The OSGO is a similar entity than the OCA, and they ruled the collaborative development and open source development of Geospatial Toolkit. So having heard about this experience, I digged a bit how they made it happen. And I've realized that by creating this OSGO entity, they created a neutral space where all contributors would feel safe placing their work and contributing to others' work. And to safeguard the contribution, we also had to deal with the ownership of the copyright. So the entity, so in this case, the OSGO, own a copyright over this work. So this ensures it remains open on the long run. So that was really for me the inspiration that helped me starting the association. So in end of 2013, beginning of 2014, there was the official launch of the OCA as a Swiss not-for-profit entity, and it was funded by major partners at this time. That was Voxu from Mexico, Acceso from France, Savoir-Faire Linux from Canada, TERP from Netherlands, Helicocorp from China, and Camptocamp from Switzerland. So we all gather our strengths to build up this association. And what was really awesome or a coincidence at this time, that the same year, at the very same moment, OpenERP announced their shift to become Odoo and the switch of their business model. So the same year that we founded the association to defend the open source way of doing Odoo modules, Odoo closed a bit and a share of their own software as a proprietary software. And they went to this open core model with an enterprise version. They switched the license of the community version from AGPL to LGPL. And this was really a chance for the association back in the time, because the OCA was really perceived as the open source rescue boat, and a lot of people were willing to be involved. For the little story, I remember that the foundation of the OCA took place in Belgium during the Odoo experience, what was called OpenERP Days at the time. And the room was absolutely crowded by all the people. Nobody could enter the room anymore. And there was really a very thriving ambience and a lot of enthusiasm for the foundation of this association that is today still a very impressive success. The founding vision of the OCA, what aggregated all people on a common effort to make it happen? First, everybody saw the value of preventing duplicate effort. So that was really a major aspect. The second one was the neutral and safe space. Everyone felt confident sharing and improving each other's work under this OCA umbrella. The fact it was in Switzerland bring a recognized stability and impartiality to this association. And of course, we really, from the very beginning, wanted to ensure a truly open source path for Odoo, where we could so guard the contributions and provide a robust open source alternative to the proprietary module of Odoo. Today, if I had to highlight the main achievements of this association, well, first, we have thousands of contributors nowadays worldwide and hundreds of members. But from pure fact, we have a massive library of Odoo module that range from niche industry vertical to very advanced technical framework. We have Open Upgrade project that is a community-driven migration tool for Odoo. This allows to avoid vendor lock-in for version update. OCA provide a wide range of CI tool, testing, guideline, and best practices to build up modules jointly and in a collaborative manner. We have several project steering committee that are group of people that maintain certain feature set of Odoo, such as accounting, logistics, connectors, and such alike. And we do rule global events. The most well-known one is the OCA Days in Belgium that took place 2 days before the Odoo experience. But we also have local chapter meetup, such as the AMOdoo Days 2025, where we met today. The core value of the OCA, first, open source first. So we do accept any OSI approved license, but the major used one are AGPL and LGPL, and we really have a strong preference for transparency and reliability. It's a community driven, for us it's very important, so it's mostly built by volunteers, sponsors, and members, and functional and technical both contribute and work together to build up the new modules and maintain them. At the heart of it, it's a system of quality and peer review process that everybody is looking to its peer work and help improve it. And the last one, very important, is the neutral governance. So it's the board that rules the association is elected by the individual. It's not driven by companies. And we do have a worldwide representation among our members. If you keen to be involved, here's a little highlight of the benefits that you may have participating to the OCA. So first, it helps reduce cost and have faster delivery in your project. It helps you raise your quality thanks to the peer review and the guidelines that is inside the OCA ecosystem. If your company starts contributing to the OCA, it's a very great way for your brand to be recognized and visible among the Odoo ecosystem. You also have access and gain access to a network of experts worldwide that will help you solve the problem you face and the challenge you face in your project. And regarding your customer or from your customer perspective, the OCM modules will help reduce vendor locking and deliver a higher return of investment to your client. I need to maybe highlight here that overall the OCA will avoid to have too much customer specifics in your project. That will help maintain it over the long run. In order to make this happen, you have to adopt OCA as part of your process when you deliver a project and include it in your overall delivery cycle. Maybe we can explain this a bit further in the Q&A if you want to know more about how you can achieve that in your own company. A few words on the license and the intellectual property. So there is a CLA, which stands for Contributor License Agreement inside the OCA ecosystem that you have to sign. So this CLA gives a copy of your copyright to the association, and this helps to ensure your code will remain open over the long run. And it also gives the OCA the right to legally protect your work if we had to go to court or whatever legal action that may have to be intended in the future. As I already mentioned, we accept any OSI license, but most of the work inside Odoo is released under AGPL or LGPL in the OCA ecosystem. And another very important fact to me is the Odoo Enterprise compatibility. So by design, many OCA modules fills the gap in community version compared to enterprise version, but can also coexist with the enterprise version. So we have many integrators in the OCA ecosystem that use both enterprise module and OCA on top of it to go further or more in deep on specific functionalities. The relationship between the OCA and Odoo SA, the editor of Odoo, is really based on a win-win situation today. So Odoo SA open core model definitely proved its success. Odoo skyrocketing success worldwide today. It drives the Odoo evolution and definitely contribute to the well-being of the ecosystem. On the other hand, the OCA role is really to maintain a thriving open source layer with additional features, and it's also an incubator and an innovation hub for new ideas and new features that oftenly are merged back into further version of Odoo. And of course, there's a collaboration between the two entities. Sometimes they participate to some sprint or event. We share knowledge and our relationship is friendly, but remain very independent. How to contribute? That's rather simple. You have a little link at the top right of this presentation. You can get a tool on our website, but basically, if you are techie, you can pick up a repository on our GitHub account, github.com/OCA, and you have to just sign the CLA. There's no need to be a member to contribute. You can follow the guideline, open pull request, engage collaborative feedback, or you can also start making review on current PRs on the domain you feel appropriate and knowledgeable to provide your feedback and help others merging their work in the OCA repositories. If you're a functional or non-technical person, there's a monthly meetup for functional work group where you can share best practices and suggest improvement. So you should absolutely not hesitate to be involved. You can also help in documenting or testing modules. You can participate to meetup and sprints, such as the one we have today. And you can also engage further by being a sponsor of the association to gain added visibility on the OCA website, or you can become a member to help fund our infrastructure, event, and strategic development. So don't hesitate to contact us if you feel your onboarding is not going well. We are all here to help and support your onboarding. Regarding the governance of the association, there's 3 layers, I would say. The first one being the members. So the members are all individual. being developers, consultants, users, and they take an active participation in the association. Then we have the delegates. Delegates are elected members, and those are the ones that has the right to vote for association decisions. So all the major decisions are voted by our delegates. And this delegate assembly is really the almighty power of this association. And the delegate elects a board of directors composed today of 9 members. They are elected annually, and the board is ruling the strategic direction, approve the budget, and oversees the major initiatives of the association. So really the important fact here is that members are ruling the association and not companies. This is really important for us for our independent behavior. Another point about the delegates, this delegate layer has been added to avoid an association takeover. So this mechanism protects a big company or big corporation to suddenly buy thousands of membership and rule the association. So because the delegate elect the new delegate, this is really a way to protect the association over the long run. So you can start becoming a member today to support the association, to access exclusive content, and that's also the first step for you to be involved in the decision-making process of the association. You have the link here. It's a one-button click away, and you can be a member. It is €60 per year today for the fee. OC operational organization, aside of the governance, our major and wider and most important layer is our contributors that submit code, review PR, add documentation, test modules. And for that, there's no membership required. You just have to sign the CLA. Aside of this, we have several project steering committees that manage specific repositories. I talked about it already, such accounting, logistic module, and such alike, or project steering committees dedicated to specific topic, such as the marketing for the OCA, training or content creation on behalf of the OCA. And from an operating perspective, we have 3 paid persons today: the General Secretary, which is Rebecca Gelatli from New Zealand. Our Managing Director is Virginie Devol from Belgium. And our Content Creator and Training Manager is Julie Lebrun from Canada. So we have some challenges for our future directions that we want to take with the OCA. So we want to scale our impact in this Odoo ecosystem. Odoo is really growing big, and we want to continue having an impact with an open source vision of Odoo. That's one first axis. The second axis is to professionalize the Open Upgrade project to really fund a stable migration for each Odoo release to help people live with community version of Odoo. We want to strengthen the local chapter. So like the one you are building up today with Emma, the Mexican Association of Odoo. There's others in Italy, in Spain, and we want to spread this around the whole world. And of course, we want to improve the collaboration with our members and contributors, releasing training and more consistent and faster review of their work. So the ecosystem is really moving very fast with the skyrocketing Odoo success and rapid growth. And so the more we move forward, the more the OCA is a smaller share of this broader world. So our goal is really to bring more integrator and end user on board. And our focus is to deliver more high value open source app that you will see a very important outcome for you to help reduce your cost for your project. We want to offer training and best practices toolkit to help integrator do better project. And we want to promote the no vendor lock-in to the end users and end customer as a recognition of quality and cost efficiency. So I hope the key takeaway you would get out of this talk, that you have a little highlight of the OCA, that is a dynamic, volunteer-driven community The major value that we believe in are collaboration, neutrality, and open source. The major benefit you can leverage is to lower your cost, improve your quality, get a strong support network, and be recognized for your expertise. And your role that you can play in here is to join, contribute, and help shape the future of the open source of Odoo. I think I'm already reaching the end of this talk, and we have now some room for questions. So I'm not sure how you would like to handle those questions, Maxime or Valeria. I let you guide me there.
Las preguntas las pueden hacer nada más levantando la mano o escribiéndola en el chat. Muchas gracias, Joël. Me gustaría agregar un punto también que es importante para la comunidad mexicana, pues es el esfuerzo de traducción, ahí para tener un Odoo 100% en español de México. Entonces, pues ahí también hay oportunidad. La OCA nos da una infraestructura con un servidor de WebLate para hacer traducciones de los módulos. Entonces ahí les invito también a checar esta parte. Pero pues abrimos el piso para preguntas en español, en inglés, en el chat o levantando la mano. Adelante. La pregunta de Guillermo: ¿la membresía de AMOdoo y de la OCA son diferentes para poder acceder a los meetings de la OCA? Sí, son dos asociaciones diferentes. Se pueden unir a las dos o una o la otra, no hay tanta diferencia. Los meetings de la OCA pues son abiertos, entonces pues no hay restricciones o necesidad de ser miembro o no. Lo que sí podría pasar, o no sé si es en los planes, pero igual que las cámaras de comercios, pues puede tener un precio para miembros con descuento y un otro para los que no. Pero todo está abierto a sus contribuciones. Joël, you want to take the events question in English?
Which is the point of view of Odoo SA? Is there any support or collaboration from Odoo SA to the OCA? So I'm not sure what you mean by support or collaboration. So Odoo is not financially speaking supporting the OCA. So, and this is also a proof of our independence, and this is important to us. But there is support and collaboration in other ways. We are regularly in contact with Odoo SA on several matters. Recently, it was the topic with Fabien about where do we do the OCA days? Is Fabien willing to give a talk? So there's a friendly relationship, as I said, but there's no financial participation of any kind to remains independent from Odoo SA. We are not pursuing the same goal, but we are complementary. I'm not sure I really answer what you wanted to know. So if not, please tell me.
One thing we can mention as well, Joël, is it was a tradition before the Odoo experience on Tuesday for the OCA board to meet with Fabien and Anthony Le Suisse and Olivier Donny to discuss collaborations on different subjects. And one of them was when the change of name happened, is the license of the Odoo community version.
Yes, yeah, that's true. So it has not happened important meetups such as that one you mentioned, Maxime, since the last years because there was no need. But when there is important matter, then the editor is keen to reach out with the OCA to understand the perspective of the community on a topic or another. So when they switch the license, of course, this is a very important topic, and we were deeply involved in the way we will do that and what would be acceptable from the community perspective. And we were fairly respected and heard at this time. And I think if that will happen in the future again, it will still be true.
Muy bien. ¿Algunas otras preguntas? En español, en inglés, en el chat. También pueden levantar la mano si quieren hablar. Bueno, gracias.
Parece que no.
Gracias, Joël, por tu participación.
Estaba un placer.
Y pues ahí.
Bueno, gracias a vosotros. Que pasa un días maravillosos. Y si hay preguntas, pregúntala a Maxime y voy a querer para asegurar les answer. I'm not sure. Sorry, but my Spanish really wrong.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day ahead, all of you. Enjoy the days. Bye-bye.